This lemon blueberry cake is just bursting with flavor. Between all the lemon and the pops of blueberry and the cream cheese frosting, I am totally in love. It's super moist, not too dense or heavy. It's perfect for summer. Hi, I'm Lindsay from Life, Love, and Sugar, and today we're making a lemon blueberry layer cake. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is combine our dry ingredients. I've got some all-purpose flour here and baking powder and baking soda. I like to use a little baking soda because I actually think it helps make it more tender. Salt, never forget your salt. And this recipe actually uses buttermilk. It helps make it more tender. And I use powdered buttermilk. You can use regular buttermilk, but I like to use the powdered because then I don't have to buy a whole carton and then throw most of it away. When you use powdered buttermilk, you add the powder to your dry ingredients and then add water in with your wet ingredients, but also just make sure you check your package to see that you're following those directions accurately, but I'm gonna go ahead and add my powder to my dry ingredients. All right, we'll mix this all together. And then we'll set this aside and start with our other ingredients. All right, so next we're gonna work on creaming our butter and oil and sugar together. I like to use about half butter and half oil in some cakes because it adds extra moisture. You've got the nice flavor of the butter and the moisture from the oil, and some vegetable oil, and then regular granulated sugar. Pop this on our mixer and cream it together for about 3 minutes until it's light and fluffy. You can scrape down the sides as needed to make sure everything's getting incorporated well. All right, so when it's done, you'll notice that it's visibly light in color, fluffy, and then it's ready to go. So from there, we're gonna add our vanilla extract and our sour cream, which I actually use a little sour cream in this recipe instead of using all milk so that you have a thicker batter so that your blueberries don't just sink to the bottom of your cake. So I'll go ahead and add that. And then we'll mix all that together just until it's well combined. Next, we're gonna add our eggs one at a time. You wanna mix well after each one before adding the next. Okay, so next we're gonna alternate adding our dry ingredients and our wet ingredients. We've already mixed together our dry, so those are ready to go, so we'll add about half of these and mix them in. So you want to mix just until it looks like that flour is really starting to be incorporated. You don't want to over mix because then you'll develop the gluten in the flour too much and you may end up with a tough cake. And now we'll actually add our wet ingredients. We've got our water, which remember I'm using powdered buttermilk, so I'm using water in place of the milk, and we have the powder that's in with our dry ingredients, so I'll add that. And our lemon juice. And lemon zest. And it's okay if it looks just a touch curdled or separated, that's normal. Now that we're adding the rest of our dry ingredients, it'll all come together. All right, looking good. Okay, so we've got our cake batter ready to go. Now we're gonna grab our blueberries. And we'll actually toss those with a little bit of flour just to coat them in flour and help them, again, not sink to the bottom of our cake pan while it's baking. So I'll just give those a little toss. And then we'll just add these to our batter and just kind of gently fold to combine everything. All right, we've got it ready to go. So now we just want to add it to our cake pans and pop it in the oven. Okay, so I've got my cake pans here and I've sprayed them with a baking spray on the sides, and I'm going to put parchment paper circles on the bottom to help the cakes not stick. And then when I measure the batter into my pans, I like to use my food scale just so that I know it's all even. You could use a measuring cup too, but it's nice to have the same amount of batter in each pan so they all bake for the same amount of time. So now we've got all the cake batter in our pans and we want to spread that out so that it's even. Like I said, it's a relatively thick cake batter, so you're going to need to spread it out. All right, so now we'll just pop these in the oven and let them bake. All right, so now we've got our cakes. They're cooling after coming out of the oven, and we're gonna go ahead and make our frosting. It's a cream cheese frosting, so we'll start with cream cheese and some butter. Both should be room temperature. Pop this on our mixer and mix it together until it's smooth and creamy. Okay, so now we're gonna start adding our powdered sugar. This is an American style buttercream, so it does have a good bit of powdered sugar in it. The powdered sugar adds volume and stability, and particularly with cream cheese frosting, which can sometimes be fairly soft because of the cream cheese, you want to make sure to use the powdered sugar so that your cake's not sliding around on the cream cheese frosting and it stays on the sides of your cake really well. So we'll go ahead and add some of that to our frosting. We'll mix this together until it's nice and smooth and creamy. All right, so we can go ahead and add our vanilla extract. Stir that in. All right, and now we're just gonna keep adding our powdered sugar and mixing until we've got it all incorporated. All right, so the first thing you're gonna wanna do is grab one of your cake layers and put it on your cake stand, cake plate. I'm using a cardboard cake circle, and then I can actually put the cake wherever I want when I'm done, and it makes it easy to put it on the turntable. These cake layers should bake up pretty flat, but if they're not, you're gonna wanna shave off the dome so that you have a nice level cake. And then I'll add about a cup of frosting to the top. We'll spread this into a nice even layer. All right, we'll go ahead and add our next layer of cake. And then we'll add another cup of frosting and spread it evenly on top of this layer as well. All right, now we'll add our final layer of cake on top. And so the top of this doesn't have to look perfect because we're gonna end up coming back and messing with it again later. So get it relatively even and then we'll do the sides. So for adding the frosting to the sides of my cake, I like to use a nice large piping bag in the Wilton 789 tip. All right, so now I'll use my icing smoother to finish up the sides. So now I'm just doing the corners of the cake here with my offset spatula. To learn more about how I frost my cakes, I also have a tutorial for that. It's just my how to frost a smooth cake with buttercream, so check that out. So for the sides, I did kind of like a striped pattern on the side, and I just used the tip of my offset spatula, place that on the cake, turn the turntable, and just kind of let it add the design as it turns. It does take a little bit of frosting off as you go, so that's why you want to have a nice thick coat on ahead of time. All right, so now we'll go ahead and add some frosting and a little bit of decoration to the top. I've got the Ateco 844 tip, and I'm just gonna go ahead and pipe some swirls around the top of the cake. And I just like to use some more fresh blueberries and fresh lemon slices to finish it off. So now you have your lemon blueberry layer cake ready to go and serve to your guests. It's moist, tender, full of lemon flavor and juicy blueberries. It's just perfect for summer, and I know you're gonna love it. For the full recipe, head over to lifeloveandsugar.com.